Hello my friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, which is going to be my June eyeshadow palette extravaganza. This one is one for the books. Not only did I get a whole lot of eyeshadow palettes, which by the way, if you're new, is my favorite makeup product to try and purchase, all of that good stuff, but two, there were some amazing palettes, incredible. We've got a lot to talk about. So if you're interested in seeing what eyeshadow palettes I picked up during the month of June and how they worked out for me, then just keep on watching. So if you are new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'd love to see you here again, and I would highly appreciate a thumbs up. It helps my channel in more ways than I can ever explain. Also, thank you so very much to those of you who have used my affiliate links. I don't even have words to say. There's been a few of you who have actually clicked on that link and completed your purchase, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. It is my hope that this is the road to bigger and better things. So I just truly appreciated it and wanted you to know. Second of all, I also have to say, I feel like I have so many announcements. I have to tell you about Revlon Lippies. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if they're reformulating. Maybe they're going, are they vegan? I don't know. Maybe they're going vegan. Who knows? But I have to tell you that most retailers have the Lippies at a super steep clearance price. I'm going to tell you that I got each one of these Lippies at my grocery store for $2.49 from the $9.99 price tag. One of them is what I am wearing today. So these particular ones are those ones that NYX got super famous for, or was like all over the place about. It's like the liquid, and then you have the sealant side. So those were $2.49, and then the matte lip crayons were $2.49. So head to your grocery store, your drugstore, whatever, and see if they are on clearance, because it is a good time to pick them up. So let's talk eyeshadow palettes. You guys know it is my favorite product to purchase, to play with. There's something about doing eyeshadow that is, one, very therapeutic for me, but two, I am not a creative individual, and it kind of brings out a little bit of creativity in me. I also love the transformation of just a, quite frankly, bald eye to something just so beautiful. So that is the deal, and June saw quite a bit of eyeshadow palettes for me, not only because of new releases, but because of palettes that I had wanted to kind of go back and pick up. And so let's go ahead and get started. No particular order. The Brunet palette by Melt Cosmetics. I love this palette. I was reading some reviews. Some people are saying, I think even Temptalia said it was so poor in quality. If you are new, I have to tell you, I do tend to go against the grain. For whatever reason, it seems like what people hate, I tend to actually very much enjoy, and vice versa. Something that can be super hyped up, I'm like, I don't see the hype. Anyways, so I very much love this palette. This has gotten a lot of great use for me, and it's going to continue to do so. The tones are just so, they're so nice for being neutral. I feel like sometimes you run out of things to say for a neutral palette, but honestly, this one was something that I thought, I can get on board with this. Now, the mattes are very dry to the touch, and I think what turns people off are these metallic shades, which, yes, they can be a little bit more difficult to work with. They can be a little bit more on the thin side and take building up. I kind of have my method. I know what I like to use to make one of these pop, and I have had no issues whatsoever. Again, if you're new, the Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer for me is the best tacky base. And I'm not talking like spread it all over your eye. I'm talking put it in that little concentrated area where you want product to stick, and it will absolutely transform your eyeshadow. So I love this palette. I think it's perfect for a, here's the thing, as I say, I think it's perfect for a neutral lover, but one, there's so many neutral palettes out there, and two, it's getting a bad rap already. So just letting you know that for me, this was an amazing palette. The color story, the tones work very well for my skin tone. So very happy with this one, and you know, kind of sad that it's getting the negative feedback that it is. Let's talk about Patrick Ta. This was an expensive eyeshadow palette. This one kind of hurt my heart to pick up, but you guys know I'm an eyeshadow palette fiend, and I love me a Patrick Ta product. He is, I feel like every time I pick something up by the brand, I'm like, I love it. So this was no exception, except my little door just flies open every time I hold it like this. Please excuse that. Okay, so when I did my review on this palette, I had said that I really wasn't going to use these too much, and I actually take that back because I've used them more than I thought I was going to, and they are very easy to work with. Like your typical it's a departure from your typical cream type of shadow. You can use it as a shadow, you can use it as a base, you can add dimension, like there's so much. And then the rest of the shades just they're beautiful in their own right. So the thing about this palette for me is that it's not your typical neutral palette. Yes, it is a neutral palette, but the thing about it is it's a step more. It's for almost like contouring your eye, which has been done before. I think KKW Beauty, in fact, has done a lot of that, or not a lot of that, but I want to say not too long ago, she had come out with something along those lines. This particular palette has everything I need to not only do a neutral look, but to do what I feel is a good contoured eye, like adding dimension, just, I don't know, artistic, but neutral? Is that even a thing? Also, the standout shades in this palette are very lovely. I think a couple are even considered toppers. I love them all, and I am not always a topper kind of girl. Let me take off my watch before we get this all messy. I'm not usually a topper kind of girl because they can end up just so thin looking. You end up needing to layer. Something about these just works. It has such a punch when it comes to the shimmer and the twinkle that I love all of them. So there is not one thing I can tell you about this palette that I dislike, except for the price tag. So this for me, total win. I can't wait for him to come out with more eyeshadow palettes. I don't know whether he will or not, but love, love, love. Okay, so the Artist Couture Supreme Bronze Palette. This one was actually a disappointment for me. Again, I'm gonna tell you I go against the grain because this is getting amazing reviews, and it is probably it's definitely my least favorite palette out of my June purchases, but I tell you that probably like it's definitely lower ranking amongst my entire collection. I didn't dislike it enough to return it because there's a couple shades that I actually do really like, this gold being one of them and this orange being another, but overall I would tell you that it's just not my favorite formula. Artist Couture doesn't have the best formula in my opinion. They are so dry to the touch, which means nothing because that can perform really nicely, but they are very dry to the touch, and I do find that that translates for me in applying to the eye. So I just don't find that these go on as smoothly as other eyeshadows do. There's a little more work involved for me in these, and I feel like that's just, I don't know. There's other palettes I'd want to reach for more than this one, but I know a lot of people are loving it based on the reviews anyways. So, oh, sorry about that. Just not my favorite. If you are a fan of the brand, then definitely, you know, you'd want to check this one out. If you are a neutral type of girl and you want those little punches of like super bright yellow, obviously, or gold, and then you've got a little bit of fall going on with that orange. So, definitely not my favorite, but it is what it is. I wanted to pick it up to try it out and see what it was going to be about, considering I was never planning on picking up the Supreme Nudes. This was like a year ago and COVID happened, and then it was just getting great reviews, and I was like, I feel like I need to pick that one up. When the stores reopened, I went into store, picked it up, loved it. Loved it. So I feel like I was going on the heels of that one, and this one just didn't live up to that one, in my opinion. Anyways, let's go into Pat McGrath. I did end up picking up the Venus in Fleurs Luxe Quad Voyeuristic Vixen. Is that how you say it? Anyways, it was part of the blush collection. She did come out with one quad, and I knew I had passed on it on the site. Then I was just seeing so amazing things, and I was like, oh, that's one I really want to pick up. And so don't get me wrong, I am glad that I picked it up, but I feel like, just targeting one shade, I feel like this shade was going to be lighter than it was. It looks kind of a champagne in the pan. It actually goes on a little bit deeper than that. But all in all, this is a lovely quad. I mean, come on now. Come on. So the matte in this quad is so super buttery, which for me is a departure from Pat McGrath because I associate her mattes with being very dry. It is not my favorite formula in the least, but this was a little bit different and I was very happy with that. Aside from that, these two shades are obviously why I picked up the palette. This one in particular, this is the one I tell you, like even swatched, I feel like it is looking pretty champagne. Once I put it on my lid, it deepens up a little bit. Anyways, do you see that shift on this one? It reminds me very much of the Divine Rose too. This one is a little bit more sparkly than that one. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, I haven't taken the time to actually do a side-by-side like on what they look like together or side by side each other, but beautiful quad. If you have been wondering if you should pick it up, I'm going to tell you, I think you should pick it up. It is very, very pretty. And yes, you are limited to only 4 shades. I know the price tag is very, very hefty, but it is, I believe, limited edition, and I do end up getting use out of her quads. I buy her palettes primarily for the standout shades. In this case, though, the matte ended up being so pretty. I love it very much. And yeah, I'm glad that there was a little bit of a different something in there. Let's move into Juvia's place, the Blushed Rose palette. There were 2 in this release. I feel like the other one was like it's like a bronzy tone palette, which I still have my eye on. It's still on my loves list at Ulta, but when I went in store, this is the one that really, really spoke to me. And this was no disappointment. I'm just going to tell you that if you are in the market for this type of tone, if you like the formula, if you've never tried Juvia's Place, but you like this kind of color story, you need to try and hunt this one down. Ulta has it right now. Like all my Ultas still have this in stock, and I bought this at the beginning of the month of June. So I am going to tell you that this palette is so flattering on my skin tone. I'm a light to light medium neutral skin tone, and this is so flattering, but I also see it being very flattering on deeper skin tones. The rosy tones in here, I don't know. It's like I do, now granted, haven't swatched it on my husband, so I don't know this for fact, but just based on how they worked for me, I have a feeling that they will kind of morph into, you know, whatever skin tone is using this palette, like it kind of adapts to it. And I know that sounds really bizarre, but there is a richness to these shades, especially the mattes, that I just feel like would make such an impact regardless of the skin tone. I'm not a believer in, oh, this is, you know, this is useful for any skin tone. There's an official term for it. But universally flattering. I'm not a believer in that. I feel like that is so false. But in this case, I do think this would be flattering on quite a variety of skin tones. And I'm going to show you the mattes just so that you understand what I'm talking about. Now this one, I totally get it. This may be geared a little bit more towards lighter tones. I don't know, but these 3 right here, lovely. And there's, like I said, a richness to them that I do believe is very workable for multiple skin tones. So again, don't quote me as 1000% accurate on that. I'm still kind of learning what would look ashy on a deeper skin tone, that kind of thing. And a lot of it, I don't know till I swatch it on my husband and I'm like, oh. And it's funny because he'll look and he'll be like, oh, that one's nice, or that one doesn't show up, or you know what I mean? Here are the 2 metallics, which is what I love from Juvia's Place. Again, just like Pat McGrath, I will buy a Juvia's Place palette simply for the metallics. They have a creamy feel to them. They are very thick, but they go on so rich and metallic that it's, for me, hands down, one of the best from drugstore as far as metallic. Look at this shade. It's like it pulls orange. So stunning. This in the inner corner is beautiful, and I have used it as an all over lid color, and I gotta tell you, it brightens up my face like I turned on a light bulb or something. It's absolutely beautiful, and for $14, and if you use a coupon, if you reach that $15 threshold at Ulta and use a coupon, then it comes out to even less. So I highly recommend it. And again, I have that bronzy one. I always forget to bring a wipey in here to kind of wipe my arm down. But yeah, so have my eye on the bronzy tone, not sure, but we will see. Okay, let's move into, this is still in the box because honestly, I keep the boxes for these. I know that sounds crazy, but I am that kind of makeup junkie hoarder type of person, and so I do keep the boxes for these. But the Norvina Volume 5 from Anastasia Beverly Hills, or ABH, I should say. Hands down, this is my very favorite of the Norvina palettes. I will tell you though, there's a couple, so I really like the Volume 3, which is the orange one with the butterflies. There are bright, you guys know I'm a bright colorful eyeshadow type of girl. And that one I would say probably runs a close second to this one. But there is something about this palette that has purples in it that I don't have in my collection that are harder to find. One of them being like a grape purple, a good grape, like grape candy type of purple. You know which kind I'm talking about? Like rich, but it pops. It's not too deep. It doesn't like subdue my eye. It is bright, but it is a rich purple. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. And there's two of them in here that I just, oh, so pretty. So for the purple loving girl, oh my goodness, like what are you waiting for? And look at that finish, absolutely stunning. Let me give you a couple of the matte shades as well. I think one of the complaints, I know one of the complaints about these palettes is that they tend to run a lot of dupes within the palette. You know, you've got like 3 colors that look almost exactly the same. They're just slightly different in the, you know, how bright or how deep they are. And yes, this palette has a lot of variations of purple. I mean, that it's a purple palette. But honestly, you have got so much to do a dimensional purple look, monochromatic look. There's so much variety with still it being just purple. I'll have to tell you that the mattes are so soft in here. I'm quite not accustomed to that from these Norvina palettes. Usually they are a drier formula, which again, doesn't matter as long as it applies well on the eye, but to the touch, these are very, very nice. I have to agree with a lot of people in saying I think this is their best one yet as far as formula. Color story, yes, but formula also. It's just very easy to work with. It's not difficult. It doesn't take you an hour to do your makeup. This is beautiful and it's worth the price tag, you guys. So these tend to stick around. So if you're wanting to wait till the sale in November, I think you'll be absolutely fine. But this is so, so pretty. I will tell you there is one pressed glitter. It's this one right here that everybody is loving. I don't know. I've seen this glitter done before, so I guess I wasn't it didn't, you know, knock my socks off or anything like that. But yes, it is very pretty, but there are also a lot of people who don't want pressed glitters in their palette. So, you know, there's something for everyone in there. You know, we're all different. I do like a pressed glitter in my palette, but you know, it doesn't have to be every palette. So let's keep it moving because I gotta go here soon. All right. Let's talk 2 Gimmie Glow palettes. These are not new, but they were restocks. And after the Pastel Dreams palette, I knew I needed more of this brand in my collection. They are absolutely stunning, and I think it's pretty decent for the price tag. The Pastel Dreams kind of threw me a little bit for the price. I think it's because it was my first Gimmie Glow purchase. I had a few of their singles thanks to a beautiful subscriber named Noe. And so that's really what kind of, that allowed me to dip my toe in the water, because I can be leery of indie brands only because I'm like, there's not as much flexibility to where if I absolutely hate it, I can be like, you know what, Sephora, I don't like this. I'm never going to use it again. I really would prefer to return it. So that allowed me to dip my toe in the water, and I was like, they're Texas based. I'm Texas born and raised, will probably be in Texas my entire life. So I really did want to pick up a few more. So they did a restock. You guys know how I feel about olive tones. Come on. And olive tones for eyeshadow make my eye color pop because I have green eyes. A lot of y'all tell me I have dark eyes in my videos, and I know it's because you guys, I'm not techie. So figuring out the whole lighting situation and everything for perfect optimal performance. I'm on the struggle bus, okay? So my eyes may look dark. I actually have light green eyes, which is crazy. So that being said, olive tones for me, hands down, my very favorite. Burgundies also work really well though. So this is a 6-pan palette. You do get 4 mattes and 2 metallics. So these 2 are the metallics, obviously. One of them I'm wearing on my eye. There's a couple of mattes I'm wearing on my eye. And this palette is an olive lover's dream. I will tell you, there's not as much variety because there are 6 shades. I want to say this was 30 bucks. For the pan sizes, that's a really good price. So you've got just multiple variations of olive in here to do an incredible olive martini look. So let me show you what I'm wearing on my eye. Wow. So beautiful. Let me give you the other one. The other one is deeper. I would have liked to lighter olive shades, but that's okay. The world doesn't revolve around Michelle. And I know that it it's still a beautiful shade, quite frankly. Look at how stunning these are. Oh my gosh. Okay, so olive, you need it if you like it. If you like a good olive toned palette, then you might want to check this one out. 30 bucks, and so happy I picked it up. Also, from the brand, I picked up the Vivid Rose palette. I'm a pinky tone kind of girl. I love pink everything. So this, when I tell you, it spoke to me on so many levels. It really did. So this is absolutely stunning. Like, it's beautiful to just open and look at, quite frankly. And you guys know, the first one my eyes went to was this one right here. I love a good bright, almost neon looking shade, and that one did it for me. So beautiful tones because it's got the pops, but you also have a little bit of neutral to work with, even though, you know, the deeper ones are more like a purple. That's the theme. But you've got a little bit of neutral to work with in case you don't want that pop all the time. And then as far as the metallics, wait till I show you. Oh my goodness, this is pink, but it looks like there is so much wattage on that it's blinding. They're so, so pretty, you guys. Again, if you have not checked out the brand, take it from someone who's always been kind of iffy about, not iffy in that I think they're shady, iffy in that I don't want to take the plunge because if I don't like it, then I'm kind of committed to it. You know what I mean? But look how beautiful. Let me give you the hot pink. Yeah, absolutely stunning. So, okay. That being said, this palette, totally worth it. I think it was $45. I think I will link it down below. So yeah, just, absolutely beautiful. I love. I can't wait to see what else they're going to come out with because I'm just so infatuated with the brand at this point. All right, we're down to the last three. This has been so long, so my apologies. But let's talk about Cara Eyeshadow. So Cara, I think. So I had bought one a couple months ago at Marshall's, told y'all about it. It was in one of my Extravaganza videos. In fact, I think it was in last month's, maybe. I loved it. I've seen a couple of more since then, but it didn't look like color stories I would actually use. And I had gone on their site not too long ago and seen that they came out with these bigger ones. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that, you know, and given the fact that they're a lot less than some of your more expensive brands, I had almost thought of picking them up. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to wait. About a week later, I saw them at Marshall's. So I was like, what? $9.99, you guys. They're on their site for $26.99. $9.99 at Marshall's. So first off, the packaging, beautiful. And I love a good mint and I love a good pink. If there's anything I like close to pink, it's mint. So basically my two favorite colors. So here we go. The pink one is lovely. It's very bright. I will tell you that the metallics in this palette are a little bit thinner consistency than the last palette. So I seemed to like these a little bit less. However, the mattes go over really, really nicely. They are pigmented for being bright shades because sometimes bright shades, they look bright. You put them on and you're like, why did this sheer out so much? This is not what I was looking for. But no, these build so nicely. They blend very nicely. They're just all around good eyeshadows for the price point. Here is a metallic. This is a very summery palette. And I won't say it's the best quality of any palette I have in my collection, but it is, for the price point, it's very good because the quality is really, really decent, you guys. And in addition to that, you get a lot of bang for your buck. You get a ton of shades for, sorry if I blinded you there, for the price point, at least the price point at Marshall's. So I wouldn't think twice about picking up one of these. I love this palette. So glad I picked it up. Like I said, is it the best quality? No, but they're not all going to be, and you've got options, and yeah, I'm so glad I picked it up. But in addition to that, the more than that one, I actually love this one. So this one has, first off, an olive shade that I am wearing in my inner corner that is, guys, I keep blinding you with this. So sparkly, so pretty, and the color story in this one is a little bit deeper. It's still colorful, but it's a little bit deeper than that one. And I find that I like how these perform just a little bit, but just a little bit more. Again, how is it that these bright shades perform so nicely, or as long as, what am I trying to say? At least pigmentation wise, it's like, what? So look at that green. I mean, It's so amazing. Let me give you a swatch of this olive shade because you guys know, and this is what I loved so much about that first palette I picked up, is that the metallics really packed a punch. They were shiny, they were pretty, they were like on par almost with a higher end. And so that's the reason I like this palette a little bit more. I find that the metallics pop a little more. They have a little more pigment, a little more sparkle than this one, but don't get me wrong. $9.99, you guys can't go wrong. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for forever at this point. So let's talk the last palette, and that is the Colourpop High Tide. I purchased this at the beginning of June. When it first came to Ulta, I was like, I kind of need that because I am a turquoise, just, I gravitate so much. I see turquoise, I'm like, mine. So this, okay, first off, the packaging, absolutely beautiful. The detail is so pretty, and you guys know Colourpop is very affordable. I was able to use a coupon, and this palette rocked my world. I'm not even kidding. When I first opened it, I was like, I don't know if I like it as much as when I saw the pictures. And then I put it on my eyes and I was like, I love this more than when I saw the pictures. I am wearing this in my Say Cream Bronzer video. And I had to laugh because somebody commented saying something along the lines of like, your eyes just no. And I was like, you know what? Just yes. I love the color story. It's very monochromatic, obviously. But the turquoise, there's so many variations and they pop, you guys. But Colourpop, I mean, it's no surprise. Colourpop makes a bomb eyeshadow formula. This one is my very favorite. But anyways, so pretty, so easy to work with. I mean, oh, my arm is like pretty much full at this point. So if you love a good at this point my leg is so dirty because of all the all the eyeshadow droppings. Anyways, if you love a good ocean type of color in eyeshadow, then this palette, you need to check it out. It's beautiful. It gives that like I'm at sea summer vibe, and the quality, sensational. Nothing less than what I would have expected from Colourpop. I'm sure, I already know there's variations of some of these shades in a ton of their palettes, I mean, but overall, this color story, beautiful. The price tag is unheard of. We know that, again, Colourpop is just known for quality at an affordable price. This was honestly one of my favorites for the month. I actually have 2 or 3 favorites, but this one was so, so good. I feel like I just dug my finger in there. Anyways, definitely look into it if this color story is up your alley. Okay, my friends, thank you again for stopping by. I hope you had a good time chatting eyeshadow palettes with me. I hope it was in some way, shape, or form helpful to you, all my rambling. But want to leave you with a quick verse of the day to let you know that Jesus loves you so very much. It comes from Proverbs 16:9, and it says, "In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps." I love each and every one of you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you in the next video, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, friends.